Good evening, model railroaders, and welcome back to the Second Section podcast, where it's just regular folks talking about model railroading. I am your host, Andy Dorsch, and joining me this evening is my co-host, the man with the track plan, Mike Ostertag. Mike, how you doing?
Good. I'm actually pretty tired. Had a long day.
Yeah,
Good day though. It was a good day today though. So
yes.
we had windows put in the house. That's even though I didn't do any of the work, that's exhausting.
I tell you, when you watch people work, it can really tire a person out.
Yeah, they did it. They did they look amazing. They got all of them done in one day. So that was 10 windows and put in one day. That's amazing.
Yeah,
They look fantastic.
It's probably 8 to 9 more than I could do in one day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So in the meantime, I had time while I was waiting. I drew up the track plan for my new variation of the Farland terminal, and I got that pretty much all taken care of.
I think it's and we're gonna just keep secrets here.
Yeah, we can't let anybody know.
We can't let anybody know about this, but I like it. I think it looks good, and I think we're going to talk about it on a future show.
Yeah,
because tonight's show, it's all about the operations.
Yeah,
and
we couldn't find anybody else to talk about it, so we decided to give Ken a call.
Ken's check didn't bounce, so
he's the only one that answered the phone. So,
right. but anyways, yes, we got tonight. Back with us here on the Second Section podcast, we have Ken McCorry with us. Welcome back, Ken.
Hello. I'm here.
You're here, and thank you for taking the time to put together a bunch of content for us this evening, to dive into operations on your model railroad.
No problem.
It's a really cool package. But before we dive into all that, Ken, would you give us a little bit of an introduction about yourself for the folks who missed you on the last show? Anyone new in the audience tonight might not know who Ken McCorry is.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. I'm 77 years old, so I'm old. I was in the oil business most of my life and also trucking.
Okay.
Never worked for a railroad, but I did. At the age of 7, I used to help my dad check tank cars of kerosene that came into our family business. So, let's see. Basically, I started off with American Flyer. I think at probably age of 5 or 6. Had that for probably 6 or 7 years, and then my dad bought me a Revell 060 in Union Pacific, a tank engine, and it was my first HO piece. Which I still have it. Actually, it's in that case behind me back there.
Wow!
And doesn't run anymore, but it's still there. And that started my world in HO.
So you're modeling in HO scale.
Yes.
Now let's talk. So what's the size of the layout that you have in HO scale?
Okay. The barn, I'm sitting on the first floor of it now. The railroad's on the second floor. I want to watch Mike's face here. Anyway.
Yeah, after the last time you were on the show, I'm trying really hard not to have PTSD about your layout or anything.
Okay. The barn that I built to house the railroad, external is 32 by 80. Inside's 2x6 studs. So the inside room, without the first addition I put on, I only put one addition on, was basically 31 by 79.
Yeah.
The stairs come up somewhere near the middle of it. There's no plumbing up there. It's hot air heating and air conditioning, both in the floor and the ceiling overhead. So there's no pipes to worry about.
Nice.
When I had it wired for 3 plug-in circuits around the room. So the idea is the lighting circuit is separate. so I can walk upstairs, flip the lights on, but everything upstairs is dead. And when you're done working, as long as you throw those 3 other switches off, there's nothing that can be left on, soldering irons and things like that.
Yeah.
So it worked well. The railroad was built I built the barn in 1990. Railroad was started, benchwork actually was started in the middle of 90, probably late 91. The railroad is all built out of 3/4-inch plywood. There is not one
Sheesh.
stick of dimensional lumber in the railroad at all. Nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
That's great.
That's
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome, but that's just an insane amount of cutting.
Oh, it is. It is. Well, we went through 2 table saws, and
You went through 2 table saws.
yeah. Well, it's
That's
after a
how
while.
it begins.
Yeah, it's So
We just went through 2 table saws. That's no big deal.
yeah. Oh, and a whole bunch of a whole bunch of other equipment. It just but
Ken, if you don't mind, you can keep going, but I'm gonna share a couple of pictures from the first show,
okay.
just so that people can get a reminder.
I do have a question for you when you mentioned your electrical right away. So I'm going to interrupt here. Okay.
Go.
Did you put any in-floor outlets in? Like, is there
No.
anything in floor or anything like that
No.
that like was designed? Nothing like that. Everything's
No,
in the
they're
wall.
they're all in the walls.
Okay.
But one of the major peninsulas does have some power supplies in it. So what I built was out of 3/4 ply, basically built like a wiring trough that goes across the floor. And people, it's a nice gradual up and over. It's only about 3/4 inch high. So any other wiring that I needed to get into the middle of the railroad goes in there also. So I do have one extension cord, a heavy duty one that goes. I needed to have some separate power supplies, mostly 12-volt and such for swish machines and such. But it feeds that. But the nice thing is people don't walk on it, and so there's no worry about damage and such.
So here's a pretty good perspective of the layout itself. So it's in the barn, which we just talked about.
Yep.
Has dedicated wiring for various functions. Now, how many decks are we looking at here?
Right here, you're looking at 3 decks. The lower deck is the Enola staging. Okay. The one above it, you can see a little bit of it. That's the Harrisburg staging. And then the one on top that's mostly scenic, that's basically coming west out of Renovo and starting up the 2.6% Keating Summit grade that gets us up to the top level.
That's
If you look on the back wall, you can sort of see you see a bridge back there on the right-hand side on the very top. That's actually the top level of the railroad. That's about 50. If I remember, I think it's 53. The base is 53 inches off the floor.
Wow. This is really, really expansive. And I love it. I actually was prior to the show this week, I was thumbing through a bunch of the photos that you had shared with us of your layout. And it was I don't know, it was inspiring to say the least, because I just, from the scale, but then also the detail that goes into it too. That's the thing that really,
well, the
really
detail,
grabs your attention.
the railroad details, that just comes with, this railroad is really about almost 35 years old. So, you can get the basics done, get it running, get the mechanicals working, and then you can go back in. And I've changed numerous areas. A number of years ago, there was a picture of it on the cover of MR with the blast furnaces when I was doing the Pensy era.
Yeah.
And the blast furnaces are gone now. I actually donated them to the Union Club. And so instead of the blast furnaces, now there's a Lehigh yard, and behind it is the GM Tonawanda plant. That, in fact, it's right. That big blue building on the back wall, it's the GM Tonawanda engine plant. And originally for a number of years until about I guess 2 or 3 years ago, there were 2 full-size scratch wheel blast furnaces in there.
Wow.
So, they unfortunately I started mine before Walthers did all their nice steel mill stuff. So I just used some plans that I had gotten and built them full size, which meant they were about almost 3 feet tall.
So there's a couple questions, Ken, just as we recap the layout here. Do you know how many scale miles of track that you have?
Well, if you start at the lowest level staging, which is the Enola staging, it's 1,425 feet from there to the middle of Mineral Springs Yard in Buffalo. So, the longest main line run is that. Sorry, Mike. So,
This is what I was talking about.
Yeah. So,
I mean, remember what happened the first time you were on?
yeah, I remember.
I had to seek medical attention.
So then the Killbuck Southern Railroad has a question here. So whereabouts are you located since you model part of Eastern Pennsylvania?
I actually live in Eagle, Pennsylvania, about 30 miles west of Philadelphia.
There you go.
So,
yeah, no, that's pretty good. And then we'll just thumb through a couple more here, pictures, but tonight we're going to start talking about the operations. And so someone asked, do you use JMRI for operations?
No.
We were talking in the pre-show.
There is some use of it for the cab downstairs, and also the computer that's tied in, which uses it. I do have a bunch of crew members that have some of the TCS handsets that use Wi-Fi. I have NCE on the railroad, but the nice thing is when they show up with their own handsets, I just have the Wi-Fi turned on. They can operate their trains using their handsets versus me supplying the needed 32 handsets.
So that's a good point. So you use the JMRI basically as a Wi-Fi.
As Wi-Fi, yeah, that's it. Yeah. There's the CTC panel was built by a friend of mine, Paul Zimbicki. Not really the panel, but he designed the program. It's sort of based on what Chubb's system is, with a motherboard and then other boards out there in the field, and what connects the railroad basically to the dispatcher's panel is basically a phone cable. Yeah. And
was that the CTC1 system back with that Bruce?
No, this is something
that Bruce Chubb had. Was that what that was?
Yeah, it's similar to that. But Paul designed, works for a company that makes chips. His job is, at least the last time I talked to him, his job was really a lot of stuff for automotive world. And so the idea is, you heat them, you cool them, you try and blow them up. You put them in, they're in a car or in a truck, so it's not the greatest environment in the world for a chip to live in. And so his biggest thing is he has designed it, but he tests them. He says, I test them until they blow up or catch fire, and then we figure out why they did it. And then so the boards themselves that I have, there's a motherboard, and there's signal boards, there's detector boards, input output boards. He designed them all and built them all himself. So I have extras, but the problem is if something major goes wrong, I've got this sort of a standalone system. So
this is the CTC panel here.
Yeah.
This is downstairs by you.
Yep.
And so this is one corner of it.
I forgot about that.
That's the west end, so that's the LICO portion of the panel. So,
and then this is the other side, correct?
Yep, that's the case end. In the real world, there was a case tower in Northumberland, and then there was a LICO, which stands for Lycoming County, which actually at one point, this is one of the few lines that Pensy ever CTC'd. And when they did it, they actually went to a lot of single track of passing sightings. When I built this, I used mostly a 1956 era double track line. But and say the light coast for Lycoming County was actually in the second floor of the Williamsport passenger station. So
Unbelievable.
I just put them in one place, and it was easier.
So if I was playing dispatcher here, and we're just gonna just to kind of go through the operations. These switches that we have here. So I have number 45.
Right. If you look straight up at top, you see the crossover 45.
And I see crossover 45. Now, does this operate the switch for me?
Yes, it does. Well, what you have to do is when you want to line the plant up, number one, nothing can be in the plant. It's detected.
Yeah.
So, but you line up what you want to do. Let's say you got a train coming from left to right on the would be the normal two track. You want to go in the yard in Northumberland. So you can say, well, I want to actually go in on 43, and then I'm going to just take a straight rail on 41. So what you do is you throw 45. You throw 45 to reverse. Then down below you have a signal. Okay. Go down the next batch. Now see, there's a 134 that's for one track, and 234 is for two. So you throw. For this one, you'd actually have 45 to reverse. You'd have 234 to reverse, which means it goes to the right. And then when you're done, you just hit that red button down below. That's the code button. And as long as everything is happy with everything, it'll pull the plant up and give the guy the signal at 234 will probably give him an approach median because he's going to take the crossover and go into the yard. So
holy cow.
And then when the train hits the circuit, it drops the signal behind it to red. And there are fleet signals. You'll see a little toggle switch here between the top and the bottom row of levers. Like when we run open houses, that's fleet switch. So you can flip that foot up to fleet. And if you're just going to run trains straight through the plant, it becomes almost like an automatic. So once it clears, see if the fleet is up is on. So if the train clears the 134 or the 234 signal, it'll be 234 will be red. It'll get to the next block. Once the train clears the next block, it'll go to an approach, and then it gets to the next block. It'll go back to clear all by itself. So,
wow.
That way for open houses and such, nobody has to man the panels. The panels just work themselves.
That's kind of awesome. So that way you could, and then you get to enjoy the signals being knocked down as the train progresses through the line.
Yep.
Ha!
That's
really, really super cool. How? Okay, we're just gonna play along since we're just diving right into it here. Killbuck Southern, what style signal heads?
PRR position lights, but on all the ones at interlockings on the Buffalo line, the stop position was two reds, call them snake eyes. So you had two reds, straight across.
Oh, you didn't have a middle. There was no middle light on the.
No, there's a middle light, but when you have the middle light is an amber light, like all the rest of the lights. So when you have a stop, you have two reds. That's it. The center is out. When you have a clear and it's a pure vertical, all three are lit. If you have one of the other approach and the diagonals, all three are lit. But in the stop position, the center one is out because up here, most of the Pennsy, they had amber everywhere. But on the Buffalo line, they mainly because of the river and the fog, they found that the red went through the fog better than the amber.
Oh,
so that's why that's what I was told.
A neat little piece of railroad information that a lot of people probably miss.
I would have never known that.
Maybe that's actually really, really kind of neat.
Yeah. So it's the area I grew up in here which is on the Penn C main line, the 4-track main line with catenary and GG1s and all that. Everything down here is amber. So
sure.
And still is to this day. Amtrak eventually is going to go to color on here, but they haven't done it yet.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's really,
that is
really neat.
that is crazy. So we took a I guess a trip down memory lane here, but there's one other thing that we just have to show that kind of is going to kick us down the operations path here a little bit. And
If you show the flour mill, I'm leaving.
no, we're not. That's not.
Hmm.
That's real. You're going to stay then, because I'm
Okay.
not showing that.
All
So
right, fine.
yeah. So this is the cab.
Oh yeah, God, I forgot about that.
We forgot about the cab.
I forgot about that.
So
Yeah.
this
Louise.
can be incorporated into your operations as well, right, Ken?
Yeah, it can. Yeah. Yeah. We use it mostly really for open houses. That way you can have people come in and say, take a seat. And we have a camera car on the railroad, and this has its own sound system. And you get in here and there, if you can sort of look above the nose, that other picture, there's a projector up on the ceiling, and in front of the cab, there's an 8 by 16 foot screen. So there's an 8 by 16 foot picture of what you see, what the camera car sees. And so you sit here and run it like you would, the throttles, the brakes. The brakes will stop things. There's the infamous electrical panel with the switches. So
The thing of nightmares is behind that wall.
It keeps on giving. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So,
I ever get over there, I'm gonna open that whole damn thing right up just to see what
You would.
I will.
You absolutely
I'll be
will.
interested. It'd be interesting. I just want to see how he does everything.
Yeah. So then you can the projectors over here to the left.
Actually, the projector's up in the ceiling. If you look right up in front, see the up in the ceiling here. No, look, no, go right there. See it up there, that's where the projector's mounted.
Wow.
And then the ceiling, the on the garage door in front of it is where the screen is.
So can I make a suggestion for an enhancement?
Uh-huh.
So what I think you should do is you should actually have like a misting station that goes on and a fan, so that way, to simulate rain pounding onto the windshield, so that while they're running the train, they can have the.
There's no windows in this.
Oh, damn it.
The wipers are real. I mean, they're all real wipers, and they will work. I hooked some air up just for fun to see if they will move. But there's no windshield. They came out of a CSX. Most of the heavy iron stuff, headlight, door handles, marker lights, grab irons, all came out of Silvis off of a CSX GP40. Because when I got the crate of parts, you could tell by the color what everything came off of. So that's where the electrical panels came from too. So
it's actually really, really cool. I like that a lot.
Amazing. But yeah, don't stick your hand through the windows when it's raining. That's right. That's right. So now that we've kind of teed everything up here, we're going to talk about the operations. And if you haven't seen Ken's layout prior, we did a show a couple months back with Ken and his massive layout, and he did a great walkthrough of it. Check that out. A bunch of other people on YouTube have Ken's layout tours out there as well. I think Al Puglisi is one of them. Yeah. He did a nice video of Ken's layout. So if you go and check that out, you can get a really good feel for it. But now we're going to dive into the operations aspect of things. So Ken, I got to ask you, how many operators does it take to run your layout?
Okay, I actually got a list here. I'm actually.
Oh my God!
just okay.
Well, show me the list, Ken.
Yeah, let's see the list.
There you go. There you go. That's awesome. So how many?
Okay, to man the railroad.
Yeah.
Okay, you have a Case and Lyco dispatcher. All right, which you saw downstairs.
Okay.
There's a
One.
Renovo block operator, which handles the Renovo, basically where the helpers tie on the push up over the hill. I figured that I wanted to take that out of Light Coast territory. That way he wouldn't go completely nuts. We also have an Altoona block operator, which handles anything coming down the Bald Eagle branch that came out of Lock Haven, going to Altoona, and the Clearfield staging, which is the West Branch Valley, basically the ex-New York Central line into the coal fields of Pennsylvania. So there's 4. Now we get the Northumberland yard. There's a yard master, an east and a west crew.
Okay. Does the yardmaster actually run a train?
Yes, he can. He can, but he also is. There's one guy back there normally that has the handset. The yard master is really one that throws the turnouts. I sent one in the batch of pictures. The other pictures I shot were like from the aisle. I actually took some pictures from the back of the aisle. There's a big building. You look from the outside, there's a giant building here. The back of that building is the Northumberland yard panel. So the yard master really controls the turnouts. The East man, he just controls right now is a pair of RSD 4s, and that way, he makes the train makes a set off or a pickup, or he pulls stuff out to build up a train. And there's also a crew to the west, which is they do the classifications. He can reach in, he has a stub, and then he basically classifies the stuff into the west end of the yard. And there's also a hostler position, which is something I just sort of introduced. And that is really so they basically handle motor power swaps. And also when you build a train, if you need to get a cabin car / caboose out, he can get that. So
we're up to what, 10?
Well, right now we have a total of 8. Okay.
Okay. 8.
Now
is it each crew one person or 2 people?
Just one.
Just one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We're up to 8.
We're up to 8.
Okay. Now we're at Newbury Yard, which is really the ex-Reading Yard in Williamsport. There's a yard master, and there's also a Reading and Northern crew. In my era, I have the Reading and Northern that runs the remainder of the Reading that is really cut off from the world today after Conrail came about. So there's 2 more. So you have a Reading and Northern crew that sort of handles the yard, does a local, and a yard master. That's 10. Okay, now we get to Renovo. You got 2 helper crews. All right, that's 12. Now you get to Buffalo. All right, hang on. Okay, you have a Mineral Springs yard, which has a yard master.
Got my shoe
Yep.
off.
He's getting his shoe off, getting toes.
Okay, Mineral Springs yard. You have a yard master, handles all the classification, and basically tells all right, come on in or don't come in. You're good to go. You have 3 South Buffalo. The South Buffalo was the Bethlehem Steel Railroad for the Buffalo Lackawanna Works in Buffalo. So, but they also did industrial switching up there. They handled like the Ford had a stamping plant, and the South Buffalo actually switched that plant. So you have a South Buffalo East, which really handles the rolling mills, a South Buffalo West, which handles Lehigh Yard and also Tonawanda, the GM Tonawanda plant. And you have the industrial, which handles everything on the Big Center Peninsula, which is basically a whole bunch of industries to the east end of Buffalo. And there's a utility man. Utility man basically it moves power. He's a hostler. He takes power out of the pit, takes it over to where the trains need to be. There's a couple of transfers that he can move in when it's required. Okay, so that's
what
Buffalo.
Are we up to, Ken? Because I lost count.
That's 17 right now.
248 toothpicks.
7. So we're up to 17.
Yeah, 17. Now we also have a utility crew in there, and they sort of, they do whatever they want. So that's a total of 18 so far. Okay. Then we have the interchange crew, and we have a number of short lines that interchange mostly at Northumberland. They're real short runs. The runs are maybe 25, 30, 40, 50 feet at most. Sometimes it's just you're bringing a train in. There's no real work other than dropping off the cut, making a pickup, and taking it back to staging.
Yeah.
So now we're up to 18, or up to 19 really now. So that's 19 people. Okay.
Wow.
We haven't put a road crew out yet.
What?
There's no road crews out yet.
What?
These are just people to man locations. We run anywhere from
Wait.
Yeah.
So there's no road crews, no locals yet. So we haven't gone road crews yet. We haven't done locals yet.
Nope. We did helpers.
We've done yard jobs though, right?
Yeah. Well, the yard jobs are taken care of, and 4 of the interchange points. There's more than 4.
I need to call my therapist.
One crew takes care of the interchange, which is mostly at Northumberland, but there is one up at Olean, New York, too. So now we get the road crews. Okay. So we got 19 so far. We run from anywhere from 8 to 12 road crews. So it's 27 to 31 people. Mike?
I got nothing.
Okay.
So 31 people. So
are we up to
a full
31
complete
or
with 12 road crews. Now the 12 road crews, that also includes the local crews. You know, when you go to that board and you sign up, the next train may be a local. Certain people love locals, certain people don't like them. They just want to go from A to B or B to A or whatever else. So a lot of times it's like, no, you take that one, I want this one. Yeah. So
here's the big board, right?
There's the board.
Before that, there was a question, Ken. The beer line modeler said or asked the question. He also said he doesn't have that many friends, but he says, curious, how many guys do you have as regulars? So talked about 31. Do you have regulars?
Yeah. When I send the email out for an operating session, I send it out to 52 people.
Holy smokes.
And, most of the time I can get, there's a number of times I really can't run with any less than, I figure 24, 25. I can, if I know I'm going to be short, I can run a bunch of the locals before the session so they're done.
Okay.
And then all the yards have to do is, okay, here's the inbounds from the locals. You got to classify them. So, but
Tom Klomoski, Ken has a double deck parking garage.
Valet parking.
No, I just have a lot of parking areas. So
I did see that.
Yeah.
So we got so if you can't get 31, you can rotate through the various jobs if need be.
Yeah. Well, yeah. One of the troubles too is you just can't say, okay, you're going to be the Northumberland Yardmaster this session if he's never worked there before.
Yeah.
And it's like, where's the instruction book? I said, well, here's volume 1. Yeah. Volume 2 through 6 are over there, and that's you need to have a certain number of people who you can rely on to show up to run certain positions. Like helpers, you tie on, you're pushing, most of our trains are 30 to 35 cars, some are 40. The ore trains are up to 70 jennies. And, so when you're pushing on one of those and you don't know what you're doing and there's no amp gauge or seat of pants feel of it,
right.
It's, so you want there's certain people there's certain people that are qualified to be helpers, and that's, that comes to the territory. Same thing with yard masters and such like that, and dispatchers. So,
you gotta have your skilled crew in there to kind of your minimum skilled crew in there to keep things
and that's
moving.
that is a problem.
Operation competency is what I like to call it. There are certain people who, and this is no slight, because for the most part, the majority of the people are really super nice people. They just don't belong doing the high thought process jobs that are needed to make sure the session flows properly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that is like the worst thing. And I'm sure everybody here has been at one of those sessions before where you get there and you have the most inexperienced people getting an opportunity to run the most stress laden jobs, and they have no clue as to how anything is supposed to flow and function, and they really don't even know how to make meats, and it just
Or
really
how to read
bogs everything,
signals.
or how to read signals or anything. Yeah, so I always like to use the term operational competency, because it is true. I mean, and some people are just born to take a train from point A to point B where they don't have to do any thinking. That's it. And there's nothing wrong with that either, because those got to get run also. You know?
I mean, my recommendation when somebody new what shows up, the first session or two, they always go with a crew. And the idea is usually what will happen sometimes, the knowledgeable one will say, okay, here, you're going to be the engineer, I'll be the conductor. You can run the train, as long as they know how to operate the handset and do you know the basics about Pensy signals? Okay, well, if it's straight up and down, you can go through. If it's straight across, you can't. And anything else is slow down and don't go through it real fast.
Yeah, you kind of, some guys, you hate to say it this way, but you just got to kind of dumb down things a little bit.
You do.
Sometimes
you do.
for people. And
it's, I mean, like as a person, I'll still consider myself a newbie in terms of being an operator. It's like you walk into someone's layout for the first time, there's like, I don't know, it's like overwhelming almost.
It's
in some cases. Like when I was Bob Welke was taking me around and we did his layout, and that was kind of like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff going on here. And I'm like, well, I'll just take the road job so I can learn the layout. I've never been here before.
That's the best thing to do, really.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the unit trains on mines, they go from A to B or B to A or whatever.
Yeah.
And, I mean, other than maybe having a helper tied on behind you, and I always tell, whenever a helper is tied on, the helper is in charge of the train. He tells the head end crew what to do.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's no amp gauges, there's no sanders, there's no seat of the pants feel or previous knowledge. So it's like, hopefully the guy at the back pushing we always watch what we call the node, which is where how much you're pushing versus how much the guy in the head end is pulling. So you sort of find that spot where the KDs are going, like this.
Yep.
And you say, okay, I'm pushing here, this is pulling, and you watch that. And that way you're not, you don't end up with either a stack of cars or a string line of cars. So,
yep. And that was so I got thrown into the Alan Schrader's BN Marias Pass layout here in Wisconsin, and he's got a helper job. And I must have been looking out the window at a bird or something. I got put on that job, and I tell you, it was possibly the most fun job that I've worked. But man, was it stressful.
Oh yeah,
making sure that you weren't, because I didn't want to be the guy that was in charge of derailing a 30-car train at 70 inches above the deck, So
you don't want to get somebody. You get certain people that love to talk while they're running.
Yeah,
and I said, and you get some helper crew and say, "Oh, no." I said, "No, watch your train."
Exactly.
Shut up and watch your train.
Even for a guy like me, who I've got 33 years of physical railroad experience, and I do it every day for a living. But like when I went over to Minnesota and had for their operators weekend, for that Twin Cities Division operators weekend that they had, I was at two layouts that I had never been to before, and I was slightly intimidated by them because I didn't want to make mistakes and not do what that layout owner wanted me to do.
Yeah. Mhm.
Right.
You know, and I mean, granted, now because of my experience, I was able to do things a little more efficient than
Mhm.
others
Yep.
were because I could see, you know, because it's part of what I do for a living. You know,
Yeah.
it's just
Yep.
I can see things differently, but it didn't take away from me really wanting to learn how that layout was set up, and I didn't take the hardest jobs out there either. I took relatively easy, like you said before, because that's the best way to find the lay of the land is to take one of
Yeah.
those A to B jobs and do that and
Yep.
get yourself
Yeah.
comfortable with it.
I mean, in your job, you got whatever you're running the territory, you have to know the physical characteristics of it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know where the bad curves are, you know where the hills are, where the sags are, yeah, where the grade crossings are at. Yeah.
Where the gas stations are, how many
Yep.
cars you can fit between crossings so that you can
Yep.
stop at said gas station,
Get
Uh-huh.
a snack.
where
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
biggest parts are so that you can go out to the woods if you have to go potty. There's like all the important things.
Yeah. Yeah. But it, physical characteristics, and also a lot of people, they don't know the geography. Yeah. I mean, I say, okay,
Yeah.
you're starting in Enola, and right now you're good to Selinsgrove Junction. And they go like, where's Selinsgrove Junction?
Just drive, baby.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
drive.
Yeah, I know. See,
Yeah.
you put signs up, but people are they're scared because they're looking where the hell is Selinsgrove Junction at? And it's,
Yeah.
yeah, so
I'm
it's
going north, so it must mean I'm going up. You know?
yeah.
No, that's not the way this works.
No, not always. So
No.
So
yes,
so how do you how is it first come first serve? Do
Yeah.
you have seniority?
yep. No, there's no seniority. As far as crews and stuff, I mean, I know
What
guys that keep
operation you
lists.
running there?
Huh?
Huh?
There's no seniority.
No, it would require more work for me to maintain a seniority list, and I
Yeah,
have
right.
enough work to
That's
do.
good. That's actually a very good point.
So, and there's certain guys will, certain guys will sort of, like I said, if you look in the next train as a train, it's like, no, I don't want to run a local. I want to run a through train. They'll just stand back until somebody else takes that one that they don't want, and they'll take it.
Ooh,
So
here's a good question.
yeah,
Well, of course.
What?
Do you use a fast clock?
nope, no. Normally, if you have a through train, you get on one of the say the east or south ends. 45 minutes to an hour later, you're at the north end, and so there's no. I'm not worried about that would really take it was 300 miles and we went 40 miles an
Yeah.
hour, so it should take 7 hours. No, we use real world time. So
Yeah.
So I paged through a couple of the pictures and I apologize here, but so just kind of going back, so we had the extra board here in the job board. We talked a little bit about that.
Yeah, this is the map of the Pennsylvania Railroad, basically from end to end in about 1963 or 4, I think.
Wow.
So,
and what you have it highlighted on here, what you're
you can sort of see if actually you'll see Harrisburg. A little bit more right, that's Harrisburg. Okay.
Yep.
So the Buffalo line is the one that goes straight up. Yeah, it goes up there. The one that gets to the first split, you got the first split there is the Shamokin branch. Okay. The next that's the line to Wilkes-Barre. That one you set there.
Yeah.
Then it keeps on going. You get up to Lock Haven, and you'll see there's a line that goes straight across. Now down the next line, see the little single line down, right there. That's basically that's the Bald Eagle.
Oh.
And you continue on up, and you get to Williamsport. You got the line and goes straight up. That's the Elmira branch. It went all the way up to Sodus Point up on the lakes at one time.
Oh, wow.
That's Lake Ontario up there. And then you see the rest of that's the line basically headed. There's Lara. You see that's Emporium is right there. Emporium, you have part of the line going to Erie.
Wow. So then,
Yeah,
and then
Larrabee,
Buffalo.
and there's Buffalo. That's the end of the railroad, the north end. About 300 miles in the real world. So
I'll be darned. So, so Steve from tradingwaybills.com asked the question, what do you use for car forwarding?
actually, you'll see that in a bit. There's a card coming. There is some pictures of the car cards that I use. I don't
Okay.
use separate. I use separate waybills for unit trains, but not for single cars.
Okay. So what are we?
Hmm.
So this is the train.
Yeah,
this
this
the
is what you would
train
pick up. The Northern Central Railway. That's the header. It's the S8384. It starts at Northumberland Yard. It works down. It goes down the Wilkes-Barre branch. It goes as far as Moconaqua, Pennsylvania. You do all the local work, and then you basically turn and go back to the yard. And then the next sheet over, it tells you where it's a westbound direction. You contact when you get ready to leave Northumberland Yard. You give Case a call, the Case dispatcher. And then it says works. It tells you local traffic at Creasy and Moconaqua on the Wilkes-Barre branch, including the Honeypot Yard at Creasy. You pick up or set out their PP&L hoppers at Honeypot as required. There's a card box there. It tells you that basically says set out, hold, and pick up. So when you get down there, basically you make your set outs, you pick up anything in pickups. The holds, they just sit there. And then in between sessions is when I usually move the holds. Okay. The next card is the work orders that tells you what it is and also tells you the lead locomotive. In this case, the 2013. That tells you what address to punch in your handset to run those. And that's actually a C420. And there's probably two of them on that train. And since this one is a local, none of the work at Northumberland, Williamsport, Renovo, or Hinsdale is checked because it doesn't go there.
Haha. So if this was a road train, though,
well, the road train would be exactly the same, and we used a three-ring binder to tie them all together. And a lot of the other railroads around here, they use separate waybills, and they put a clip on the waybills, and then somebody will drop the clip, and then there's it's like 35 cards laying on the floor. The nice thing about this,
I call that Andy Dorsch move.
These things are on a three-ring clip. So what you do is when you drop them, they all stay together.
Yeah.
And you pick it back up, and you're not sitting there going like, okay, now I gotta start the front of the train and get all these cars in order again. So here's a transfer. Okay, this came out of Harrisburg Yard in Harrisburg, and it terminates in Norrie. And so basically, they're telling you that the 3054 plus 2, so there's 3 units on this. And at work, it goes Northumberland, it sets it out. That's it. And then the next card will show, it says from here, this is the blocking card. From here back, Northumberland block. So a lot of the through trains that we work all over one location, there's block cars that tells you, and I pre-block the trains.
Okay.
So the first place you work, if it happens to be a trailing point, the front of the train will be there. And then the second place you're going to work, that's it tells you this block of cars until you find the next block card goes to this location.
Wow.
Do you preset your consists so that you have the same power together all the time? Is that
Yeah.
Is that 3054 plus 2? Is that a 3-unit consist that's together always?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it's probably 3054. It's probably an SD40. So the first 2 numbers tell you the horsepower. So it's a 3,000 horsepower unit, and then chances are there's usually I put 6 axles and 4 axles together normally.
So you don't do your unit numbers based off of prototypical numbers?
Because these are all the Northern Central Railway, so they're all fictitious.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah. Now the Conrail units that on the railroad,
gotcha.
the Reading and Northerns, I use their numbering. but my stuff is all,
Gotcha.
is my world, so to speak.
Right. Yep.
So then, the thing is like the North. Okay, now here's a car. These are cars. There's a 52-foot gon, and it basically tells you. Basically, it says it's going to Buffalo, Lehigh Steel, the electric furnace. So this car has probably got scrap in it, and every time it's empty, it goes back to Wilkes-Barre. So obviously, this crane it could go into staging. So when I reset it, I go over and I go over to the scrap load box and pull a scrap load out and put scrap back in it. So all this stuff has loads in it. So that car is in scrap service. And then there's a Canadian national box. And you can see where every time this goes back, it goes back to Buffalo via the CN. So it goes back basically to Canada. But the first time it shows up, it comes to Buffalo, goes to Clay Paper. Then it goes back empty. The next time it goes to Olean, New York, and it goes to the Schulmanson Paper Company. So obviously this is a paper car. Empty. It goes to Port Allegheny, Pennsylvania, Variety Publishing. Empty. It goes to Philadelphia, and then empty, and then it starts all over. And the idea is this car here, you see, like that car there, you see a single check mark in that little box next to Port Allegheny. So that tells you, one, that car is either on its way to Port Allegheny or has been set out of Port Allegheny.
Oh.
And then, so the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that can be used on the back. Say you decide there's 2 or 3 places in Port Allegheny where that car could go. Then what it would do is it would say, 1, 3, and 5 would go to Variety Publishing, and 2, 4, and 6 will go to this place. So it doesn't always have to go to the same customer. And you look on the back, I have them that way. On the back, it tells you what the different numbers are. Basically, like I said, basically a session is a block. So you got 6 that way, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 8. So there's 48 blocks there. There's 48 sessions in there. If you ran every month for a year, that's 4 years. That car will last you 4 years.
So, okay. So I think I finally figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So right now that the car on the right, that paper box car.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is right now at Port Allegheny Variety Publishing.
Yeah. I mean, it could either be in a local going to Port Allegheny, right? Because it hasn't been set out yet, which is the complete check. That's the deal. So, and then. Okay.
So so the one slash
means it's on its way there or has been delivered to the customer and it's not ready to get picked up.
Okay, so then you would complete the X when it's ready to get picked up.
Yep, and it would be empty. And then it says, okay, well, it has to go back to Buffalo, and there'll be a Canadian CN transfer that's going to pick it up and take it back to Canada.
So so then when I'm working at and my local is at Port Allegheny, I'm picking and this is a pickup.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking it up empty. And returning it back to Buffalo.
Yep.
And then is Buffalo one of your staging yards, Ken?
No, it's an active yard. That's the You had that picture last time. Remember you said it looked like it was N scale.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's the Mineral Springs yard. It's probably the largest physical size yard on the railroad.
That's right, because we commented that you had Canadian trains on your layout.
Yeah.
And so then that's transfer then takes it off layout.
Yep.
Via to staging.
Yeah. So the CN picks it up and it goes into I have transfers basically going to Canada. I have transfers going to Frontier, which is Conrail's yard up, in Buffalo.
I figured it out.
So
it can be taught.
So okay, so then your trains that transfer down to staging to quote unquote Canada.
Right.
When those come back onto the layout, that transfer train goes back onto the layout as a different train?
Yeah, I mean, well, it would be a CN it would be the transfer from Mineral Springs Yard to the CN, and then basically it's a CN transfer coming in, probably across the Niagara, I guess Niagara Falls, and it's going to get dropped off at Buffalo. And the idea is then it comes in, and the empty would be marked, and that's okay. When the yardmaster at Mineral Springs looks at it, says, okay, well, the next move on this car is going to Philadelphia. And you say, well, where's Philadelphia? Well, that you'd send it in a train in Buffalo. It would go to a NOLA yard down in Harrisburg. And then Conrail would pick it up, and they would take it the rest of the way into Philadelphia.
All right, now I got it.
Yep.
And you don't care. I mean, I could put a name after Philadelphia for, a paper, for Scott Paper or something like that. But it's just like, no, it's going to Philly. It's a load of paper, and it's going to Philly somewhere.
Doesn't matter where it's going.
No, it's just headed
It just matters.
Way.
It doesn't matter where it's going. It matters just that it's going somewhere.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. It's not really, I mean, like I said, I didn't develop this. This was developed by a good friend of mine, passed away a couple of years, Charlie Carangi. Yeah. And he modeled the Pensy in 52. He did the Northeast Corridor. And, he had this, and I said, wow. I said, this is, the drop.
Scott the donut guy is saying hello to you.
Okay.
There, Ken.
No. Yeah, but he was the one that came up with this, and like I said, this really covers everything. And the nice thing, like I said, I've worked on a lot of railroads that have the separate way bills, and I think I sent you a picture of what I have as like the unit train. You pick up 30 loaded hoppers out of a staging, and it's going to maybe a PP&L plant, or it could be going to a Philly pier or a Baltimore pier. There's a separate way bill with a pocket in it, and has a big way bill sticks in it, and it says 30 cars loaded bituminous going to Philadelphia Pier 124. And that's it. There's one car for 30 of them. So,
yeah.
And it gets there, you flip it over, and it says empties. Maybe it's going back to Clearfield, or it's going back to Brookfield, back to the Shawmut or something like that. So,
is that a car with a set of eggs in it?
No, those are domes for the ends of tanks.
Oh,
I thought it was too when I looked at it.
Okay, I wasn't going insane there for a second.
There was Luke and Steel in Coatesville, not a little bit west of where I am here. One of their specialties was turning tank ends, and they had these cars. They had the cars with the bracing in them because they were too wide to handle any other way. So they had these things made up where they could set them that way, and that's why they could transport.
I thought they were Easter eggs.
Yeah, that's what I thought too at first. Yeah. It's a nice Wisconsin Central Limited type switch engine. Or remember the last time I told you about that? That was the original Northern Central paint scheme I came up with, which was basically dark green locomotive enamel and a good portion of the Wisconsin Central microscale decal set. Okay, with the exception of the Northern Central and the Keystone. And I mean, it's got the normal Wisconsin Central stripes on the nose. And I always say, it's a nice color. And that was the first one, but I really decided later on that I said, all these stripes are too much work. So I got like the real railroads. I got a little cheaper, and that's the other two Jeep 35s behind it are the simplified scheme. So which look good too, by the way.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I think they. So now this we must be walking a train through your layout then, if I'm not.
There is one we're walking. This is actually a transfer that's ready to go for the next session.
Okay.
So you can see there's actually there's a loaded car back there. There's a company up in Falls Creek that rebuilds Navy landing craft.
I was gonna say this looks like a boat or
it's a Navy landing craft, an LCVP. And they actually rebuilt them and they shipped them by rail. So
wow.
It's going to Norfolk, Virginia to get probably put back in service or put back in storage or whatever else. But Yeah, these are the pictures I took from the pit back in Northumberland Yard. The other pictures I took were out in that aisle out there.
Oh my gosh.
Shows you the diesel. There's a wire train down there for the catenary. It's a maintenance away equipment there. The modern diesel house, you can see it's mostly all the Conrail power. And then the brick one behind it, that's all the Northern Central stuff.
Holy cow. Now you were saying that you had a hostler.
Yeah.
He worked.
He works in the other side. He works in the, where this is where the yard master and the East End guy work back here. Yeah, now they have handsets.
Yeah.
So he can pull cuts out. He can pull stuff out of the class yard, put it in the arrival and departures, or he can when a train comes in, he can grab it, shove it down to the arrival tracks, and then the guy at the west end. If you look over in the far wall, see there's three blue oil tanks up there on the far wall up there.
Oh yeah.
Below it, right below it is where the west end is. See all those? You see the card boxes hanging on that lower level? Yeah, those are all the card boxes for the west end. So as he classifies it, and and then the idea is the trains get pulled out of the east end. So I think there's 12 or 13 class tracks, and there's 4 arrival and departures. So
holy smokes. Another good view of it.
Yeah, you can see that's the panel there that the yardmaster sits, and there's the caboose track, and you're looking at the main section in the center. That's all the classification tracks. The main line are the 2 with the clean ballast, and then the next 4 over, those are the arrival and departures.
Holy smokes. So this is you have looks like an office chair there.
Yeah.
Do you operate from the chair, or is it?
Yeah, the guy working the panel usually does, because what happens is the other crew has a chair too, but he says, okay, I need to go back to I need to go to the Selinsgrove track. All right, so he just lines. All right, you're good to go. The yard master lines the plant. He goes back in there, grabs the cut, pulls the cut out, and makes the cut, pulls it out, and then the yard master says, all right, I want you to put it down. We're going to make the Selinsgrove local up, so we're going to put it down A and D too. He gets clear, he lines the plant, and the guy shoves it in, drops it at the magnet, and that's how the East End works. The West End, he basically works by him. He goes into the arrivals. They don't get any car cards at this end.
Really?
You could do it. You can reach over and do it, but they don't need to. Basically the train comes in and the guy says, what do you got? He says, I got, maybe you have a train to making a set out. And what I do is I always make sure, like, the train that comes in is going west, which would be going like from top to bottom here. I make, okay, the Northumberland set out's on the rear. So, and what's the cut car? So sometimes the yard master will stand up and he'll take the magnet or the bamboo skewer, and he'll make the cut, and the other guy will pull the rear end off.
Oh,
he'll shove it in one of those other tracks.
Yep.
And which, you keep shoving it until the guy at the west end grabs it, and he has the cards. And then if he's going to add cars to it, then he pulls out, and the yardmaster lines them into the class track that he needs. And he usually hangs on to the caboose or cabin car. He grabs whatever number, shoves it in the back, and the crew goes over, talks to Tony Rogowski, who's the West End guy, and says, I need 12 off of Selinsgrove track. And he pulls them off, and the guy makes sure they're the same cars and puts it in his card pack, and he's ready to go.
That's cool.
That's slick. So, I mean, you between the 3 to 4 people that are, this is like the nervous center of the.
Yeah, this yard in Mineral Springs. I mean, Mineral Springs is a terminating yard.
Yeah.
This one here in this era, when I modeled the Pensy or Penn Central, even Conrail, the through trains that ran from Enola to Buffalo, they would stop here for a set out and a pickup, and they continue on. In this era, since I'm modeling a fictional railroad and Conrail does exist, we have transfers that basically come out of either Enola or Harrisburg, and those trains terminate here, and then this actually originates traffic for Buffalo. So
it's like this one here. This one must get really busy during an operating session.
Oh, it does. It does.
Yeah,
and that's why there's 4 arrival and departures. You know, so that way there's always, the worst thing you can do is have a yardmaster who's a juggler that can only handle one ball, and and
never quite heard it put like that before.
I mean, juggling balls, but but anyway, but the trouble is, what happens is, I'm busy right now, and you look, well, then there's a train parked over there on the other side of Sunbury, who's supposed to come in. Well, he can't get in, so then somebody behind him back. Next thing you know, and the trouble is with this railroad, even if that train behind him, can't get by, he might have another 35 or 40 minutes to run and to get where he's got to be.
Right.
So, you have to make, because the yards work at, even in model railroad. I mean, I'm pretty sure Mike will tell you, yard time and road time are 2 different times.
Oh, yeah.
And, and it's just, it's the same with the little, with model trains. It goes in there and it's just like, you can't have people that can do one thing at one time. A yardmaster has to be a juggler. All right, you're going to go in and pick this up. You're going to go up here and make a cutaway. You're going to go back into this track, make your pickup. All right, okay. Let me know when it's done.
So, you need to be you need to be able to see 5, 6, 10 moves down the road ahead of where you're actually at.
Oh, yeah.
Because those moves that haven't happened yet ultimately affect the move you're making right now.
Oh, yeah.
And if you screwed that now move up, now you just cascaded 15 or 20 other moves right into the toilet. And now the next thing you know is you got 3 trains, everybody's staring at each other and nobody's moving.
Yeah. And the thing is, some guys might drive 2 to 3 hours to come operate trains.
Sit in a siding.
And they're sitting there going, what the hell is going on up here? And then
railroading, that's what's happening.
Welcome to the real world here.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. I said, I don't make any money doing this, but I can't fire anybody. I guess I could, but this is the Northumberland panel, and the panel, this is when it still had a turntable. That's what the round disc is. Now that area there is a diesel shop, but I never bothered changing the panel. So
historic significance.
Yeah. Yep. So
here's your mains down here on the bottom.
Those are the mains.
And then your arrivals come in here.
Yep.
And your classification tracks up here.
Yep, that's it.
Man.
And you got the one little section there you see with that red. See the red one that in the right there. Those one's basically a bypass. So that's where the cabins are, the cabooses.
Yeah.
Cabin west, and then there's a motor pit that goes over to the motor pit is for the electrics. When I do run electrics up here on Conrail on the usually GG1s or E33s or something like that right now. And Rapido is going to do E44.
I was going to say those Rapido's released a new one.
Yeah, they just made an announcement here not too long ago about was it the E44s are ready?
Yeah,
they're ready to go or something.
Just about.
Like that?
Yeah. They actually had. There was a video out on YouTube on Andy Rubo's his unbelievable Northeast Corridor layout with one of the completely done, Pensy E44s pulling a cabin car with a pan up, under wire. So it's like I said, oh crap.
Are those going to be able to operate via wire or track?
I think they can. I for DCC, you wouldn't want to operate via wire. It's all think about it. It's only one point of contact for one side of the circuit.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Hey, how do you handle bad orders in a yard of this size? Do you happen to do you just pick and pull them off the layout, or do you
if it's really bad, I pick it up and I'll stick. There's a lost way bill, lost car. Bad, a car needs repair track, a rip track.
Yeah.
And if it's really bad, I'll just, then 050 hand comes in, picks it up and puts it over there. So, and then the card goes
Gotcha.
in the box. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is the. Remember I told you about the stage, the off stage staging and all that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I said there, if you look underneath there, you can see. Well, this is the other 6 tracks for the off stage staging. The other 9 tracks are about 30 or 40 feet around the corner here.
That reminds me of Bob Rivard's Rock Island stuff, because his stuff is almost on the floor like that too.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is so. Well, there's
But
usable space down there. I mean, you might as
but-
well use it, right?
Yeah,
And
those
if
are
you-
actually 2 D&H trains in the front. And then there's a cut back there of there's also, I have a welded rail train. That's the one up against the wall back there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is kind of a good idea. I mean, this just goes up a helix, I'm assuming, to get to
Well, it
rail.
goes around. It basically ties into the other 9 tracks. I think it's tracks 5 and 9. These tie into them, and then they come out, go up the helix up to the Wilkes-Barre branch. Like I say, it's not. We don't operate with this. This is how, this way I have there's 2 D&H trains here that I can pull one off the railroad, put it down here, and put this one up there. So a different D&H train shows up every so often.
Yeah, and that's cool. Like, and it's using it as almost like storage.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a storage on rails versus in a box.
And you don't have to handle things then, right?
Nope.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's sort of underneath the rest of the railroad, so it actually stays, cleaner. So
Right.
yeah, that shows you. There's the very bottom, that first level there with the pole loads. That's actually a part of the Reading Catawissa branch. And there's Coppers had a creosote plant in there, so I put that in there. And you can see there's some bulkhead flats down there. The coal hoppers, the Pensy coal hoppers, they're actually going to come back from that's actually the ex-Erie Lackawanna that went up to Taylor and Scranton, and there used to be coal trains that went up that way, and basically gave them the Lackawanna. So we have the North Shore that takes the stuff up there, and then the next level up, that's Watsontown. That's a PP&L train getting ready to come out of the. It's an empty train. It's Conrail. It's got the PP&L, the special cabins. They were brown with yellow lettering. They had modified steps and such on them and push bars, so the train could go through the dumpers.
What?
Yeah, that way the cabins. There was like 4 or 5 of them. They were painted that they're gold, gold lettering, yellow gold lettering, and they were made just for unit train service. That way they could clear the dumpers when they came through.
Wow.
They had special a bunch of SD40s-2s that had modified plows and such, so they could actually, the whole train could go right through the dumper. So
Wow.
This was the Strawberry Ridge Power Plant. It was, I think it's called the Montour plant. I think it's still in existence. So,
what's Andy Gerber's? I got a question for you. What's the spacing between your levels there? It looks varied.
I'd say where the PP&L train up to the next one, that's probably about 6 or 7 inches. And it's only about 4 or 5 tracks wide, so it's easy to get to. The one down below, that's I mean, you got to remember there's like a 3-inch fascia on that. And then, that one down there, that's 12 inches off the floor. So, and then that's the ramp that goes down to I told you about the Wilkes-Barre branch, came off. We're actually going to follow. So there's some pictures here. We're going to follow a local that goes down there, but that's how you get from this level down to the next level. And there's the,
There we go.
All right. There's at Berwick's up top. That's the ACF plant, American Car and Foundry plant in Berwick, Pennsylvania. So
where they made the box cars.
Yeah. So then what I did was when one of these companies cranks out a brand new, here's a new ACF box car, I buy 3 or 4 of them. They're brand new, and then all they do is they come out of the plant and they get shipped to the railroad.
I love it.
Yeah, and then when they get shipped when they get to the railroad, I just take them off and I put them in a box because they don't come back. But so whenever I find ACF built a bunch of these, you just pick up. Luckily, they do 3 or 4 numbers. You buy 3 or 4 of them, and they run in a block. They're brand new cars getting been delivered to the home road.
I love that.
And they also
cool.
get plate steel in, they get coils in, so there's steel going in and new cars coming out.
Have an industry on your layout fun. To build railroad cars.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
that lets you buy anything you want.
Exactly.
If ACF built it, that's it.
As long as ACF built it.
Yep.
My good Lord.
We've built a few.
Is that where the Berwick boxcars came from?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. It's Berwick, Pennsylvania. That's where the plant is.
Wow.
When I had the high rail trucks, and the Narcoa trips, the speeder trips.
Yeah.
We went up there many times. It came off the old Erie Lackawanna. You went up a fairly steep grade, made a really hard left-hand turn, and rode right down the middle of the main street, right through the gate into where the ACF plant used to be. So
that's gotta be fun.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was. It was neat. It's like, here's the scale where they used to weigh the brand new cars and all this stuff, and it's like, hey, I got to model this on the railroad. So, there's Northumberland Yard. That's looking west.
Okay.
There was a question a little while ago about who built your Catenary system?
They're 3D printed poles.
All
I did was I added the insulators, and there's no wire. There's nothing for a pan to hit because I've worked on railroads that have wire up, and it's a royal pain to uncouple and couple cars and not destroy things. So like all I do is put the poles in.
It's like you're poking through a spider web every time you
want to do something. Yeah. And you put, so I put the cross spans in, I put insulators on it, but there's no trolley wire. So, but they were 3D printed. There was a gentleman who actually worked for Amtrak, and all the poles he made were all based on the stuff on the Northeast Corridor. And they used to be on Shapeways, but I think he's at can't think of his name offhand, but. He does signal bridges over in Northumberland. He actually did I have a whole substation. So,
is that the same guy that used to be on Shape that did the old DT and I Catenary stuff too? The arches?
No, I don't think. No, he did mostly. He did a lot. He models Philadelphia.
Oh,
so he did mostly all Northeast Corridor stuff. He did like Pensy. He did Philadelphia row homes. I have a Northumberland station on this. He did Northumberland station for me, 3D printed it. So when you get a unit train, that's the only car that'll be in the train. And the yellow means it's don't worry about it. The orange usually means there's some hazmats in there. That's all it tells you. And then you can see there's like a little pocket at the bottom. And I think there's a picture. Yeah. Okay. I thought there was a picture of a waybill here. So
let me just double check the pile. I don't see it.
Oh, maybe. Okay. The waybills I use are larger than, the standard little waybills that fit in the little pockets people have.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. It's, basically it says to, and then the other side it says from. And so, if you, like say you pick up any unit train, it'll tell you, it don't tell you the car numbers. It'll just tell you 30 loaded hoppers or 30 empty hoppers or 70 loaded jennies or 70 empty jennies. Or even, if you had a whole string of the boxcars that came out of Berwick, there'd be one in yellow. It would say, it would say, three boxcars going to, maybe going to Chicago or something, going to their new home.
Yeah.
And then when it gets there, you just, if it's going to come back, you just flip the waybill over the other way, and it tells you the return. Or if it gets, with the new cars, you just pull it out and stick it in the rest of the waybill files.
I think this would be a good idea for me handling my ore trains.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be a great idea for you, Andy. That
Yeah.
would be a perfect idea.
Yeah. Just
I-
figure out the number of loads and, you know, an origin and a destination. It's all you
Yeah,
need.
I mean, basically it's, you know, from let's say Groveland Mine to the Escanaba ore dock. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I
Yeah.
like that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna steal that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you.
I stole this, so keep on stealing. So
What
Yeah.
is
Or
Thomas Gazer?
tactically acquire.
Yeah, what did Thomas Gazer always say? That if you steal from me, you've stolen 2 other times or something like that.
oh yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I didn't design these car cards. So,
Which
this was stolen from somebody else. So
I like how these are laid out because it kind of lets you rotate the car through its paces, go to
Mhm.
different spots if need be.
yeah.
Um,
And I
yeah,
print
it's
them on the
cool.
computer. The nice thing, if you decide, okay, I want to move some cars around, you can just print another one up and, change that. And you decide the CN car needs to go someplace else. I mean, you can see where this one goes. Okay, the one on the right there with the red PC, it's a 60-foot auto parts car.
Yep.
Okay, and empty it goes to Harrison Radiator in Buffalo. So it's going to Harrison, which is actually on the railroad in Buffalo. The South Buffalo Utility Industrial Crew would spot that car, or they'll pick it up, take it over to Mineral Springs, and Mineral Springs will put it in a train going to the CN, and it's going to the Oshawa, Ontario GM plant. And it's loaded with probably heater cores or radiators or whatever else to build a bunch of Chevy pickup trucks up there. And then so that car is in a assigned service. It goes back and forth, just like it would in the real world. It's in a pool.
Yeah.
So
I like that's how you account for that. Just, obviously by repeating the location of where it's going.
yeah.
And then the other one, like,
There you go, PG&E.
yeah.
So yeah. So let's see. So it's okay. Yeah. What it is, this one, when it turned empty, it goes to Wilkes-Barre via DNH, and the Wilkes-Barre probably takes it up to up somewhere up to eastern Canada, and then somehow it ends up going back to the Pacific Great Eastern, the BCR really. So, but one time it goes to Pot Yard, it's empty. It goes to a paper plant. It goes to Pot Yard, which means it's going somewhere down south. It could be, from there it goes to the RF&P. It could end up in Florida or Georgia or who knows what. And you don't care. But every time it comes back empty, it comes up, it goes to Northumberland, goes to Wilkes-Barre, and the DNH train picks it up.
It's another little wrinkle.
Yeah.
NC.
Yeah, Northern Central.
Central. Oh, it's blue. That's what threw me off there.
Yeah, it's an X Metro North Alco C420. It's got high-ad trucks on it, no dynamic brakes, so it's a perfect locomotive for local service.
Yeah.
So
let's see. I'm going to take a look at our set here real quick. Where are we at? All right. Okay. Oh, there's another picture of the boat.
Yeah.
On the back.
Yep,
yeah.
There's the boat.
Yep. That's cool.
Actually,
that's awesome.
It's going actually back to a PA, which is a troop transport. I was in the Navy at one point in time in my life. So.
Oh. Huh. In the Navy.
Not that Navy.
Oh.
No, I was in the Brown
Anchors Away. That's the one.
Oh my!
I was in the Brown Water Navy, not the Blue Water Navy. So you have a local that came out of Northumberland. Its first work is in the Lycans Valley branch. And Lycans Valley, that's Alston Products. They basically they get in salt and anti-skid components and bag it up and sell it to hardware stores.
Sure.
And so that if it comes in a hopper, it gets put up on this, which was an old coal wharf, and dumped. And sometimes there'll be boxcars coming in and stuff like that. And you see the card box down below. So, and that's the main line. Basically, it's heading towards Enola to the right. The track in the back, that's the Reading Shamokin line, which is the Reading and Northern in my world. And that's a loaded train of anthracite that's probably going to go up to the pier in Buffalo and end up going to Canada. So
that's cool.
One of the few places you can get anthracite coal. So, yeah, okay. So this is the Lycans. This is further down. You see the Lycans Valley, and there's a lumber yard. There's two other industries down there on that little lower level. So the first you pull in here and you set out the stuff up in the pier first. You work all these industries. You make set outs and pickups. There's also a Franklin Lycans coal company here, so they load anthracite here.
Oh wow!
So they get picked up, and you might have some empties to set out. There's a runaround there, so you can do runarounds. And there's a Pillsbury grain facility.
So this is all in the same job.
Yeah, all the same job. Yeah.
Wow.
So you work
how
off
many
the
cars
main.
does it? How many cars does that job leave with when it leaves the yard?
It really depends. I mean, it depends on the card system. The card system is random. I don't say, okay, there's only 6 cars can show up here. What I do is if like this spot, the Pillsbury right here, you can see there's 2 grainers sitting there. What happens if 4 show up? Well, there's an extra track over there. So what you do is you spot the 2 or 3 that can fit to get loaded, and you put the other ones over there, and they go in the hold box. So the next time you do it, you'll pull the loads out, and you'll take the other empties. You'll spot the empties, and if more came in, you got to, that's how it works. So it allows you some, just some. That's actually I have a speedometer there. Tells you how fast you're going. That's what that is. So, but yeah, this is all the Lycans Valley branch. Then you're coming up here, you see the river bridge up there, and then you're.
Oops, sorry.
Then you hit this. You hit Seals Grove, and this is the same. The same local works here. Basically, it goes through the interlocking and then takes the branch off, and you. That's a lube oil dealer right there, and there's a refrigerated warehouse there, and you work those with those spots. And the whole train's off the main, so that way, you don't have to worry about messing with the main. And there's the access to the main right there.
Through right here.
Yeah. Yep.
So you're off, and
you get off the main, and that way the main lines, the dispatcher has the track back. So
now look at this. You got looks like a little table here. A spot to hang your cards.
Yeah. Yep.
And then a phone to call dispatch.
Yep. And you're ready to come out. Yeah, there's a phone system. You can buy the phone systems. They're unbelievably cheap.
Yeah, I bet.
And the phones cost you more than the system, but there's actually, I think there's 12 or 13 phones on the railroad. So, and it doesn't go to outside lines. You just call the dispatcher and okay, I got the S71. I'm all done here at Seals Grove, ready to come back. So if he has it, he'll give you right now, the signal, the dwarf it's protecting is right behind one of those 2 trees or underneath that Eastern truck. But once he gives you that, you'll come out, you'll probably cross over and you'll go back to Northumberland. So, and the card box is right there. And now you look the other way and there's the Shamokin Dam, Pennsylvania Power and Light Plant.
Oh, and there's a rotary dumper.
There's a bunch of empties. And you'll pick them up, and if you have any loads, you'll set them out there.
Oh, that's cool.
It has its own little switcher there, one of those Whitcombs, I guess it is, or I think that's what, I can't remember who did. Can't remember who the hell did them.
I can't either.
So
It's not no. I was about to say Roco, but that's not right. It's
yeah, I'm having a brain fart here. I can't remember it. But yeah,
it's not Pico, is it? No.
and that dumper actually does work. It's guy in Canada made them. They're actually 3D printed.
Pico?
So you can actually you pull the cars in and clamp them down and it dumps the cars. So I can actually have live loads going into here.
I love live loads.
And then you go around, you go past that plant, and you go in, pop into what is the addition, and this is the town of Herndon, and they get to see a lot of stuff there. They got a little loading dock. They get farm equipment in there. So somebody's got two new John Deeres, and it looks like two. What's sure. I think
spreaders.
I think they're sewage spreaders.
Yeah, manure spreader.
Manure spreaders.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they are. So you set that out, and then there's a couple of the industries. You'll see a couple of the industries further down. Yeah, there is the end of the branch. It's creamer. It used to go further, but it ends there. So, and I think I shot it. There's another picture, further, a little bit further west. There it is there. So there's a hardware plant there. There's another grain elevator. So
this is all the same job.
Yep. Yeah. This is as far as you go. Once you get here, and there's a run around there, so you can run around your train. And if you have to, you can leave the empties coming out of the plant over there and just pick them up on your way back. And then from here, you basically head back to Northumberland. And that was your drive. It's the S72, S71. The S stands for Susquehanna, which is what the division used to be. So
I got a question for you. So this job that we just walked through, roughly in 10 minutes or so, how long would that take an operator to actually perform on the line?
It depends how many cars the system cranks out for it. If I'd say I'd say probably 35, 40 minutes, maybe longer. It depends.
Wow.
Yeah, how many times you got to run around, set out, pick up, whatever else. But once you're on the branch here, you're off the main. You're all by yourself. So so that you're not in anybody's way. That's the nice thing. So
yeah, no, that's I kind of like that. If if you have to do a local to get out of the way, I always get mainline anxiety. Like if I have to, jump in between different trains on the main line and stuff.
Oh, so, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you got to go out there and cross over and get that car over there, but you got to do it in a hurry.
Yeah. And then you got to wait for dispatcher to give you the okay to get onto the main to go do it.
Yeah.
And then
he makes you wait.
And I was going to say, then you're sitting and you just sit there.
Yep. So.
And if Mike's dispatching, I sit there forever because he just
payback.
I keep things flowing.
He does, just not Andy.
Yeah.
Listen. One time, it was one time
at Luke's house. I must have sat in the one spot for an hour, and I know that you were.
You were at Nelson's. You were sitting at Nelson's for.
I know. For an
20
hour.
Minutes. It was
at least
minutes.
An hour.
It was not an hour.
Yeah. So this is the end of another branch. This is the end of Dauphin Industrial, and this is it's a ballast quarry. So, and you can see where they load the ballast cars. So the world supply of ballast cars in there, and two of the tracks. One goes underneath the loader. And it actually goes all the way underneath the scenery. So you can actually load a 30-car ballast train in here.
No way.
So usually what that would be, you'd send a set of power and a cabin down there light, and they'll go in there and basically pull build the train and then pull, wherever the ballast is going, if it has to go east to Enola, it has to back out onto the main. If it's going to go west, it would pull out. So you
said light. What does that mean?
Just power and cabin. Power and caboose.
No cars.
Yeah, no cars.
No cars.
Okay.
Yeah. You could tie. There is a train that works Dolphin and such, but those 30 cars, it just gets to be too much of a pain. So when the ballast usually runs in big blocks, so
Right.
that's for. All right, these are just some pictures of the Enola stagings. Before, I never really showed you how much scenery is actually down there. So
it's a beautiful staging yard.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the tracks in front are what comes off the Helix. The Helix is behind that backdrop building there. And it basically comes from the upper level. You can sort of just see the bottom of the next level up. So I decided I like the townhouses. So I built a whole bunch of townhouses in a neighborhood in there. So
that's good. It's cute. It's cool to kind of chew up some of the staging space by putting, some scenes in it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, this staging has 4 loop tracks and 8 stubs. So it can, each loop track can hold 2 40-car trains and each stub can hold 1. So you can hold theoretically down here 320 cars in the staging if it's full. So, and there's an engine terminal on the other side. So, and the stubs there, you can see that there's a train there hanging in track 1. It's a Conrail train. So that train's in there. There's 4 tracks and stubs. When you're done with it, you just hang your cards on that, call the dispatcher and tell them you're done. So
I like that you have the signage and hooks and stuff.
Yeah. You have to let people know what they don't know it. So there's the next shot over, so to speak.
Yeah.
That also wastes a lot of extra time at an operating session when you get done with a job and you got to hunt the guy that owns the layout down and say, what do you want me to do with this stuff?
Yeah.
There should be clear instructions at the end of endpoints or whatever.
Yes, and everything's marked. All right, the guy says, okay, you're going to pull into an Enola stub, track 4. And you go over and you go, oh, there's an Enola stub, and there's a little panel. You can sort of see the top of the panel over there.
Yeah.
To the lower right. And you just hit the buttons and you line the turnouts and you pull it in until it's in the clear and you hang your cards up and you're done.
Do you have 2 telephones that are the same? That's like the 3rd or 4th different colored telephone I think I've seen.
Yeah, well, some of the phones are older. So,
yeah, because that's an old digital. That's an old digital, push button one. Yep.
Yeah, they're regular push button phones. I mean, if I hooked an outside line in, there's a place to hook an outside line into it. Theoretically, you could pick one of these up and call up and order a pizza. But it's not. There's no outside line to this, so it's just internal.
Don't challenge me, man.
Mike will have the soldering iron out and the
So there's some more of the townhouses. You can sort of see both sides. The tracks in the front are the lead into the 4 loops. The single track there is going to the 4 stubs. And then the track on the other side, that's leading to the other end of the loop. So the train would come in from left to right in the track in the front and would loop around and come back out on that track right in front of the townhouses or the row homes. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's a pretty substantial staging.
Mm-hmm. And that was built after the fact too. So, and I decided I needed to build. I like big buildings, so I built Harrisburg steel, and it sort of hides the posts that hold the upper level up too.
Which is a good idea.
Yeah, and then there's the Enola, and there's the track 1 rear, 2 rear, 3 rear, and 4 rear. And then there's a little thing there that says, go there. It says Enola. It basically explains the operation.
Which is key. I mean, having this signage is key.
Yeah, it really honestly is. You're not wrong, Andy, on that. I mean, it's
especially if you've never been there before or ever operated.
That's the thing. Oh yeah. Yeah. You don't want to scare away potential good operators. And it's just, but there's such a thing as too much information, but I figure, well, I try and make it as simple and as outward, straightforward as I can.
Yeah.
That's the next. There's more of Harrisburg steel.
Oh yeah.
It keeps going. It's going. It's about. I think it's 12 feet long. There's Harrisburg steel. Yeah. And I had an area in there. I put the light in there. I said, I got to put some scenery in here. So
right. To hide the plywood.
Yeah. So you can see the four loops. They're actually in the front. The stubs are behind that building. And then the next picture sort of goes a little bit more to our right. There. That was my trucking company. So I actually built a terminal for my trucking company. So, but, put a backdrop and you put lights in. There's the highway. There's a big gas station. I was in the oil business. I figured I got to put a gas station in here.
Oh, yeah.
A grade crossing that would get blocked if the trains are parked there. So,
do you have a rule about that, or you?
I tell guys
staging?
I tell guys to cut the crossing. Some do, some don't. Yeah. So, and then there's the highway goes up on a bridge, goes over top, and then there's actually a mall back there.
The mini mall.
Yeah. So.
And this is staging. This is just for the area around staging.
Yeah, it's just staging.
Dry cleaning. I get my nails done. I got a little shopping center.
I don't see a Jersey Mike's in there. There's no Subway.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's no Jimmy John's. No show. Need a sandwich.
This is remember we saw that one shot where the ramp was going down to the Wilkes-Barre branch?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. This is where it pops out. It goes down. It makes a 90-degree curve to the left. It runs down, makes another 90-degree curve to the left, and pops out down here. So this is called a town called Creasy, and there's actually a yard back there called Honey Pot Yard, which was these are real sites on the Wilkes-Barre branch. And there's some industries in there. So this is where I just said, well, I put lights in so I could see what I was looking at. And sort of said, okay, I need scenery now. So, and some of it's only 6-8 inches wide. So it's
Honey Pot Yard.
That's a real yard on the Wilkes-Barre branch. Yep.
Wow. That's that's an interesting name.
Yes, it is.
Well, like a lot of the names on this railroad are very, unconventional names.
I mean, this was a real business. I don't know if this is what the business building looked like, but it was a real business on the line at this point. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, and then you can look in the back. You can sort of see the highway overpass, and that's Honey Pot Yard that sort of goes back there, underneath there, and then goes. You can crawl underneath and get to it if you need to. So,
do you have to crawl back there often or not so much?
No. Well, when I put the yard in, the yard actually has a grade to it, so the idea is the stuff will instantly roll out if you have to. You can get to it from the other side. You can't get it to it from this side because you can see the storage staging is underneath there. So I sort of wiped out that access. And there's Honey Pot Yard. You see there's wood products that come out of there. Sometimes there's coal coming out of there. Here's another business.
Look at this car. It's like a Pacer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Remember they did the fresh cherries years ago?
Yeah.
You could buy them at Walmart for $3 a piece. I pissed a lot of kids off because I used to go in there. Buddy of mine worked there, told me. So I grabbed one of the little hand carts, right? Walk up to the aisle, put my hand in the aisle and go like this. And you walk up, the cashier would go like, what the hell do you need all these little toy cars for?
None of your business.
It's Friday night and none of your business.
So, but that's when they were $3. There's the Helix. Remember I told you about the Helix?
Yeah.
That's the Helix that goes from the Wilkes-Barre branch down to the hidden staging. And since it was going to start off at 12 inches, I had to build piers for it. So I built the piers out of some 2-inch foam and just put 3/4 plywood on the top and bottom. And
now this looks like, is this a laser cut Helix?
There's a company called Prozis. They sell a lot of the Bachmann tools.
Yeah. And
somebody told me about that. So I went online and found this, and it turned out I said, this is exactly, it's a two-track Helix, but it fit exactly underneath the end of the peninsula. So I bought it, and it got shipped. It showed up like 4 days later, right? Do you know where this thing was made?
No.
Istanbul, Turkey.
What? And they shipped it in 4 days.
It was shipped from Europe, right, to me in 4 days. And the thing actually goes to get, it's all like fiberboard that's been laser cut, and it works extremely well. They give you they give you everything, threaded rod. And
this is slick.
Yeah. And they make, I saw an ad on the internet.
What's the name of it? I'm going to look this up right quick.
Proses, Proses. They make all kind of little toys. Bachman sells a lot of the stuff. They had a picture of a Helix. It must have been like a 4-track Helix. It must have been like 6 feet tall. This one here, you're looking at 3 turns. I needed to get from that where that foam is over there on the right to the upper level. And I had to build that and put it in place underneath there. So
it's clever use of the foam for the piers. I like that.
Yeah, I knew I had to jack it up, and I figured out this much, and so I got it in there, and then I could adjust the threaded rods to get exactly where I started and where I needed to finish it. So I was telling you about
this stuff before.
Yeah, I decided to take a good picture of it. I mentioned this before, but you couldn't really see it. That's on the Wilkes-Barre branch, so that tells there's like the lower level tell you it's from Molly Interlocking to Lock Haven. So that goes past. So that section there, it's 13.8. And right now there's probably some cars there with resistors on them. And, upper level is Portville to Delavan. And that's sort of the middle of the upper level. And that shows you, it'll show stuff that's up there. And then the other one, I think you can screws are a little bit to the left there. You can see where the other one is. But it tells you, the power and what's up there.
Yeah.
So
big layout. It's important to have stuff like this to let you know where the power's going.
Well, it's also important too, because you can adjust boosters to get, the voltage correct.
Yeah, I suppose.
And it comes at the power comes out of the booster, goes right through this, and then goes to the buses. So
you're trying to keep it between around 14, right?
Yeah, around 14. I mean, it varies. Sometimes it depends on how much of a load's on the system.
Yeah.
So, that's I took because there was an MR cover that had, I told you, the first Penn Central units on it.
Yeah.
The first 2 are the same ones that was on the cover back in 2002 or something like that with a pipe train. So I figured I'd give them a little bit of notoriety. So 2 Cato units. So
yeah, and they'll run forever and smoothly.
Yeah. You almost can't kill those things.
No. Remember I told you about the mirrors?
Yes.
There it is. There's one of the mirrors, and you can look down. You can see the tracks behind the hill. And then I shot one at the other end. There you go. You see the turnouts. There's where it goes from a single track to 3, so you can tell, where the fouling point is. So
when you park your trains back here, you won't have any issues then.
No. As you pull in, you just look up and watch it, and as soon as if it's going in, as soon as the caboose/cabin car clears, you shut it down, and you're in the clear. You hang your cards up, pull the pin for the power for the track, and you're done.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
Freytag Fabricating.
Yeah, Dean was a good friend, and his favorite color was orange. So a lot of the loads that come out of here, you see the girder loads in there, they're orange. Yep. So, and I figured I'd put orange on the sign, orange on the water tank. So,
There's another one of those landing craft.
Oh yeah. The company that rebuilds them is actually on the east end of Falls Creek.
Nice.
Yeah, there's more Freytag pipe and girders. Everything that came out of that place is orange because of Dean. So it's
little tip of the hat to him.
Yep. He was a good friend. So
look at this coal train.
Yeah, it's a PP&L train. It's probably, I'm not exactly. It came out of Brookville, so it's bituminous. So, and you can see they load wood chips up there. So there's some wood chip cars are loaded up. and a local will come out of here, come out of Nori, and come up here and do all the work here. So
Yeah, right in the foreground here, those wood chip cars. This is cool. Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah. This shows you one of the cards. This is the Williamsport box. Shows you, the class tracks. Shows you anything that can come out of there. This is where the header cards are. And then the lower level, that's the Wilkes-Barre branch. And that's Bob Steele, which is a real company. But this ended up being, it's a long building, but you can see it's only about I guess maybe 14 inches, wide, the whole thing. I built the whole thing on foam and then slid it in place. So, and Bob Steele's 14 feet long.
That's a long building.
Wow. That is a very long building.
So there's a question, and I missed one from Joey from Late Night Hobbies, and sorry about that. So pull the pin for the power, you said when we were talking about the staging with the mirrors.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I use a regular big old phone jack.
Yeah.
And I just wire, internally you run a wire between the two poles, make it a shorting plug. And then the female has the wire going to one side of the track. So when the plug's not in there, the track is dead.
Oh, and you don't have.
There's a rack there with the whole, and the Wilkes-Barre branch and they all have that. So when you get ready to pull your train out, you just take the plug it into whatever track you're in, line the turnouts, and you're ready to go. And that it lessens the load on the system, on train sitting and stagings.
Yeah.
So
you're only using the power you need at that moment in that location.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, so there's 3 plug-ins for the Brookville staging up there, and then the Wilkes-Barre branch actually has 7 tracks, and there's 7 plugs there. So, and there's there's a number on the track, and you just plug it in, and everything fires up. You run it out, and you pull the plug.
Huh.
Nice.
And a block of wood is there. You just stick the plug back in the block of wood, so it's there when you need it.
Complete the circuit.
Yeah. I was also at one time I was going to actually use them for like local locks. I never ended up doing it, but I was going to, like some industries, you have a switch on the main line. You call the dispatcher and you say, I need he'll flip a switch, and then you use that as a key, like a key. You plug it in. Now you can operate the turnout off the main. And when you're done, you pull it out, and it goes back to normal, and you're done. So, but I was planned on doing it, just never did it. So.
Wow.
Here's more of the steel company.
Yeah, this is more of the steel plant. So.
Sheesh.
There's more there.
Yeah. Tapers off into oblivion.
Yeah, there it is there. This is Mokanaqua, which is a real place in the Wilkes-Barre branch. And there's a little yard there. American Radiator has a plant.
Are these all real served?
That's a lot of wrapping paper.
Yeah.
Oh, down below.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like look at it, like all those.
That's where you can see the names on the boxes. If you open up that Rochester box, there's cars in there that are ready to head to Rochester. I used that. That's what I used before I built the the off-stage staging.
Oh.
So that's where the idea is, when you broke a train up, you wanted to get cars off, you put them to the next, you mark the card to the next thing, and you put them in the appropriate box. And that way, when you say, okay, I need a couple of Brookvilles for this train, you just go in the Brookville box and pull from cars. So there was like Buffalo 1 through 4. So there's the.
Oh wait, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. That's okay. Yeah, there's Clay Paper, which is the building there in the corner, and then there's the Susquehanna Grain in Mokanaqua, Pennsylvania. I like granaries. So nice thing, you can make silos out of PVC pipe real easy.
Yes, you can.
And these are short too, so they only have to fit in I needed real short silos in this one because there wasn't any headroom.
Oh yeah.
Here's the NOLA. It's sort of spinning around where we were before. That's the Enola stagings.
So this is in the background here. That's at
Yeah.
Harrisburg Steel.
Yep, that's Harrisburg Steel. You see the 4 stub. You can see the 4 stubs right behind the building. That's the inbound stubs. And then you can see where that blue and yellow ABA set is. That's the outbound stubs. There's 4 there. And then there's the 4 loops are the tracks in the front.
Wow.
Look at this little guy.
Yeah, E33s.
Yeah.
That would be a Conrail transfer from here up to Northumberland. So
I like that. I like that you have some electric stuff. That's cool.
yeah, here, there's just that's looking a little bit further to the west, I guess east really. And then you got the engine terminal there. It shows you the panel down below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So shows the Rockville and the one like a sort of looks like a Y there, but it's not. The one that actually takes you to the engine terminal, and then the GAI-8 ladder, which actually was a real name for a ladder in Harrisburg. So I figured, in Enola. So I figured, okay, so that way you can line the tracks in and out without reaching in. And there's the telephone there, so you can call the dispatcher.
Little look down the line here.
Yeah, and there's the caboose track, cabin track, and then locomotives in the engine terminal. So
it's a lot of blue.
Yeah, it is.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it's one thing I did remember. When I went from Pensy to Penn Central, it was going from dark green to black. But when I got built the first Conrail blue units, boy, did they stick out in the scenery. It was I said, wow. It was really nice. It's like, man, these things really pop. So.
Yes, but I mean, we just on the last show we had Mike Rose on, and you were there. And the Conrail and the blue and
oh yeah. It was. I really miss Conrail. I really do. So.
I do too.
Yep.
It's still around.
Yeah, it is, but
sort of.
And then if you go east of where we were, where the steel plant and the Mokanakwa, this is Nescopec, there's a siding there, and that's a train sitting in the siding. So that's as far as it got the last time we ran it, and then so it's somebody will fire that thing up and take it probably up to Wilkes-Barre next time.
So if you die on hours, so to speak, you just drop your train and that everyone gets tuckered out and they're done running.
Yeah. Sometimes we'll say we start running at 6. We run till about 10. I sort of look at what's going on with the railroad. I say, okay, we'll run another 15, but then find yourself a good interlocking and pull up to the home signal and stop the train. Yeah, and because that way, when I reset things downstairs. Once you shut everything down, you don't want if a train's stretched to an interlocking, you're not going to be able to pull a signal up. So,
do you typically leave things where they are until the next session then, or do you actually go and play around a little bit?
Yeah. Remember what I told you about the phone?
Yeah.
Okay. There's the building. Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Okay. Show that there's the phone.
Yeah.
I realized that there's a bunch of stuff we talked about. I said, okay, I'm going to actually show you what it looked. That's what's inside that building.
Yeah.
That's an outside line too. So that's not.
Ooh, that's where we get the pizza.
That's where you order the pizza. Yeah.
Andy, a splitter.
Yeah.
A splitter.
Will do.
So.
I got a bunch of 4-wires sitting around here.
You do?
I might have. I think so. Yeah. I might have like about 100 feet of it someplace. What do you mean? I would.
I'm just teasing you.
So this
I used to have 6.
Yeah. The track on the top. That's the climb up the Keating Summit. The refinery and stuff. That's in Falls Creek. That's on the line that goes to Erie, Pennsylvania. I just figured I'd show some.
This is like the third or fourth
last time.
Yeah, no, this is like what is it, like the second or third spot that's been 3 different decks?
Oh yeah, you're going to see I took a picture of the 5 deck.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, It's around the corner here.
So this is why people say every time I go and run Ken's layout, I see something new.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I could say that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Holy cow.
Oh yeah.
There's that's an overlook of, you can see the main line of the back coming down. You can you see the grain elevators over there on the far right on the top. That's Falls Creek. And then you got basically the east end of Buffalo, actually Ebenezer. That's the diesel house. That's actually the car shop building. And then you got the diesel house behind it. And then those are the arrival and departure tracks there in the front.
This is awesome. Hmm.
Yeah, it's a 6-foot wide peninsula there. So, but yeah, you can reach in 3 feet. So you can reach in 3 feet from this side and 3
It's
feet
about
from the
here.
Yeah. And then you can see that train down below. You see the Northern Central units, and you'll see an 86-footer for the RVM&N with the Reading, Blue Mountain, and Northern. I decided to do an 86-footer up and put it in the pool. So
why not?
Yeah. Well, luckily they made O-scale decals, and I said, "Oh, I know exactly where I can use the RBM&N and the giant anthracite." Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a great use of another scales resources right there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I did a V&O car the same way. I just bought the V&O O-scale set and did an 86-footer for the V&O. So. Oh, there you go.
5.
There you go. You got the very bottom, which is the Altoona staging. Okay.
Yeah.
Then the next one up, that's the main line, the Buffalo line, headed west. You got Halifax on the right, and on the left, you're headed towards Millersburg. Okay. The next one up is you got the Buffalo line, or the Buffalo, and then over the side, you got the Buffalo Industrial. Okay. Then on top of that, you got Falls Creek with the grain elevators and the refinery. And then on top of that, you got Keating Summit. So there's 5 levels in one place.
I quit. I'm done.
It's too much for him, Ken.
He can't take it.
He can't.
Oh, I could take it. I'm just wow.
That's impressive. That is really
I mean
awesome.
it's really
talk
cool.
about you utilizing your space.
Yeah. Even though I got all the square footage, it's still utilizing the space. So it's
right. I mean,
what is your aisle width right there? Actually, is it?
It's about 32 inches. So that's a narrow
horrible
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine are 36.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then that's Millersburg, National Rolling Mills there, which wasn't a real industry there. It was a real industry down here. It was actually a customer of ours. They actually got coil cars in off of Conrail. It was the old Reading Chester Valley branch. And then they interesting company because they brought coils in, they made products, they shipped the products out in their own truck fleet. They had refrigerated 45-foot trailers, and they'd ship them out. And so why would you need to ship out steel products in refrigerated trailers? Because they had a backhaul that required refrigeration.
So okay, so I'm not sure if we talked about this or not because we've talked about so much, but is there anything, are there any 2 industries on your layout that actually are captive service where they don't go, they specifically go, the cars specifically go between one industry over to another and then back to the other industry and just keep going back and forth? I mean, they might go through a big yard, but they don't go to they don't go like the Philadelphia or the Buffalo.
Remember we were talking about the car going to Oshawa, Ontario, in the Canada. There's a car there. It just bounces back and forth between the CN, going up to Oshawa, and it comes down here, and it goes back and forth and back and forth. So
okay,
it's in a pool. That was when I had those good friends who worked for Conrail, there were certain cars that were in a pool. A lot of them usually had fixtures inside to hold the parts. So they couldn't go. So the idea is that car was in the service. It, return empty to here, loaded to here, return empty to here, back and forth. So, and a lot of the hopper trains do the same thing. They had, like the Shamokin Dam plant was one of the few that actually burned anthracite coal. So that loaded train comes out of usually Mount Carmel or off their R&N, but it goes back there, and all it does is bounces back and forth. So,
very cool.
You can never have too many ideas.
Yeah.
No.
Yep. And this is you can see the National Oil Mills there. There's a John dealership, John Deere dealership there. And then I also shot the. I had a drop leaf there before in the last time.
Oh.
So, but I did in this, and somebody looked at it. So I basically shot this picture with the drop leaf up, and you'll see another picture. There it is. That's the drop leaf. It's
nice.
up, right? And then it was always a pain. I used to have pieces of track that fit in there, summer track and winter track, depending on how the railroad moved. And I said, I want to try something different. So what I did was I made up a little thing where you could just drop that thing, and there's little stubs of track that stick out. But then I build a little. You share the next picture, and you'll see the next. Yeah, see that it's down, and I build a little piece that fits in there to protect the tracks. You just slide it in the hole. And I had to actually sand down some of the fascia when I had the heat failure. Things shrank, and I actually had to do that in order to get it to move. But
yeah, that's
so.
See, this is what I need to do for this one gate that I have.
Yeah, just make a piece that fits in there, and that all it does is that protects the little stubs of track that would stick out in the aisle that somebody would definitely catch and rip off. So.
And that's what happens every time I come into the basement. I've been getting, or someone, not going to name names.
Yeah.
Someone may or may not have snagged the rails and bent them. So it's always a calibration exercise.
Oh yeah.
When I go to run trains.
Yeah.
I want it to be noted that it's not me.
It's not Mike. It is not Mike.
Not going to take the blame for this one.
Mike is not the culprit.
Yeah. Okay. This sheet here. This shows all the through trains that we could run on the railroad. Okay. We don't run every one of these all the session. There might be a coal train in here that can come out of 2 different places and go to 3 different places. But this way, it basically tells the dispatchers, they say, okay, I got the S whatever. They can look here and say, oh, this is what it is. This is where its origin is. This is where it works, and this is where it terminates. See? So they say, okay, I got the JBU3, which is a grain train. All right. So it comes out of Harrisburg. Okay, it goes to Buffalo. It's the NCRY, right? And you keep going over to the left, keep going, and then basically you'll in the far west you'll see where just far the JBU was it 3? Yeah. It tells you it's an empty grain Tidewater grain filly to Burroughs lot yard. So that goes up to the thing over the top of the stairs, gets loaded, and it goes to Philly to be loaded into a ship. So
this is awesome.
That's the master sheet. Like I said, people, oh my God. I said, no, we don't run. We run
That's
about.
That's a really good idea too.
Yeah.
This one I might steal too, Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell it's when you print it on 8.5 by 11, it takes 6 sheets of paper to make a whole thing and a lot of tape. So, but it's all, it's in alphabetical order, and then it tells you where it starts, where it's finished, tells you where it works. There's also a thing here. It tells you if it needs helpers. Certain trains always need helpers. So, it says yes. If it's nothing there, it's no. This was a bad copy that I printed. I got my one printer didn't like it. So,
but, I mean, still, it's, it tells you this is good. I like this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good information on that one, on this sheet.
On one chain.
It tells you if it's a loaded coal, an empty coal, a loaded grain, empty grain, a merchandise. It tells you just the basics of what the train is.
I like the
Is it-
fact that you have the job number on both ends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that well, yeah, yeah.
Of
I
the
mean,
line.
this thing got big enough. You had to have it, otherwise you're. Hey,
You
we
just-
got a ruler, you know.
Yeah, right.
So,
Mm.
and then when you sign, that's what's usually on the board to sign up for. That's what usually is. I happen to have one still sitting around there. So that was the January 2025 session. That's what it would have been on that board, the one at the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah.
But that I print these up, and every yard gets one, and that way they know what the order of the trains are. At least the ones that are not necessarily the ones that are going to originate, but in some of them there are locals. There, and it also tells you where the train is at too. So
This is a great
It
idea.
was really cool. Very cool.
and then there's this.
How'd that get there?
That's a good looking car.
Yes, it is. I bought the 3-pack.
Did you?
Yeah, there it.
Sequoia Manufacturing and Supply.
Yep.
That's perfect for
What
it.
would that car normally? What on?
It came out of Pine River Junction.
Okay,
Yeah.
what would it normally have in it?
So that's gonna have if it comes from Pine River Junction,
All right.
that's gonna have veneer.
Okay.
And plywood and hardwood lumber.
Oh, okay. Oh, no problem. I haven't made a card up for them yet, so I needed to know what they normally would ship. So
Yep. And then they also ship veneer cores as well.
okay. All right.
So there you go.
There you go. So your railroad's on my railroad.
Ken, that's awesome.
That's cool.
I'll get a Farland terminal. I'll put one of those on there too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that was the last one that you had in there.
Yeah. I think I covered a lot of the stuff that I didn't cover the first time, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, you did. And we got to like really get into the operations of it. And like I get a really good sense now of like, okay, so this is how this, at least from a concept scale, size, I can see that this is how this railroad operates. And that's I think that's super cool. And I love the documentation that you have with it because like for me, having gone through this tonight, I would feel, comfortable coming over and, I'm not going to run one of your yard jobs, but, at least I got an idea of like, okay, this is how, trains move, in between nodes of the layout. I think
I mean, the nice thing, is if you had a through train and you're pulling the Northumberland yard.
Yeah.
And the guy says, "Oh, what do you got for me?" Well, all you have to do is open it up, find it, and probably, if you're going west, it would probably be at the rear of the train. You find that says Northumberland block from here back.
Yep.
And if it goes to the rear of the train, says, "Yeah, here's what I got for you."
Yep.
And they should be in order. And the idea is that the guy will couple up. Oh, here the cuts between this, the CP and this UP car. Okay, he pulls it off and he says, "Okay, now we're going to give you, 15 more to take up to Buffalo." And they hand you the cars and you put those on the back and away you go.
There you go.
So,
yeah. This was cool. And then to see some of the other things that we missed in the last go round. Which I thought was fun too.
Yeah. I mean, the mirrors in the ceiling and 5 levels and
champagne on ice.
Champagne on ice. Yeah.
Yes.
No, this is fantastic, Ken. Mike.
Yeah.
How's the brain tonight?
Not as bad as the first time. I mean, I medicated before I came on, so I mean, I was able to handle things a little bit more. I kind of went into the first one raw, so I mean, I kind of learned my lesson there.
Yeah, you didn't know really what to expect.
Yeah,
that was fun to watch.
I tell you what, Jesus. Yeah. I tell you what though, it's really impressive how for such a large railroad that needs so many people that you've really taken the time to organize your thoughts. That is something that I think big layouts can kind of lose track of sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's really no question at all as to how the railroad is supposed to be run.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of, there's some really cool things that you've got on that on the for the operations part of it that are, like Andy says, I'm definitely going to be thinking about stealing this one. You know, it's there's some good stuff in there, but I mean,
Yep.
yeah, it's and if I ever came over and did this, don't worry, I'd just be standing at the top of the steps with my slack jaw dropped to the floor.
I give you a unit. I probably give you a unit train that goes from one end to the other. That way you can get the feel, you know,
You get
for the railroad.
full feel.
I would that, and see, you know what, that I would really like to do.
Yeah.
And then dive right in after that. You know,
Yeah.
I like the little locals. I like the smaller
Mhm.
locals, not the I gotta go halfway around the world ones. I like the short little guys that like the industry stuff, you know, and
Mhm.
things like that. I like
Yeah.
those kind of things, you know.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think there's actually 5 locals that come out of, or 6 locals that actually come out or go into Northumberland during the session. And we got one that comes out of Buffalo that goes as far as Port Allegheny and turns. And that one's sometimes it's going out of there with 35 cars.
oh, see,
And
that's
2
cool
units,
too.
but it's called the B24 going east and the B17 going west. So we call it the bomber.
A bomber. I was going to say it's a bomber.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I
So
like
they
that
said,
a
I want to run the
lot.
bomber. You know, they get their names, but you know,
Yep.
it's, you know, you're setting out and sometimes you're picking up the number of cars, not necessarily the number of industries, but some industries can take 4 or 5. And on your way back, you stop at Hinsdale and you're setting off a block of cars for a local that's going to go up to Rochester, New York. So depends on what Kodak's going to get, you know, so it's stuff like that. So
that's cool. That's
Yeah.
very, very cool.
So this, I'd be remiss if I didn't just remind our audience that Ken is the only guest to have Mike and have Mike's reaction end up as a meme.
As a meme. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a meme.
would you buy a model train from this man?
I'm telling you, I was not okay for like days after that. Honestly, my brain was so. I don't think I walked back on the base. My brain was so fried.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, that's okay. Don't.
So when's your next operating session then, Ken?
I think I'm gonna try for either May or June. We'll see. So,
Okay.
Yep.
Right, what are we doing in May and June?
I don't know. I got baseball.
We gotta go to Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Forget that. We're going to Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
Sorry, kids.
Sorry, kids.
Yeah, no. So
See ball, hit ball.
Yeah, that you don't need me, you coach. You're fine.
Yeah.
You guys know it all anyway.
Fine.
No,
that's first
great.
base, that's second base, that's third, that's home. What else do you need to know?
That's it.
Yeah.
Who's on first? That's it.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So, and then how often, like how many times a year do you run sessions?
Originally, we used to run 12 times a year.
Wow.
Then I sort of dropped back to 6. Well, it depended on how much help I had resetting. Like
Sure.
I said before, I reset this thing for the January 2025 session by myself. And it took 60. I said, I'm going to just keep track of how long it takes to do this. I never had done that. It took 61 hours to reset the railroad.
Holy shit.
So, well, yeah, you got to remember, you know, you're moving, you got to either move trains.
I'm sorry, but I don't care.
You know, if you want to swap a loaded and empty train, it might take a half an hour to get the trains moved because they got to go a couple 100 feet or maybe 500 feet. You got to pull loads out. You pull out maybe 30 or 40 stuff out of the steel plant. They're empties. You put loads in them. Then you got to put. you know.
Are you cleaning track while you're
Yeah.
doing the reset at the
Yeah,
same
usually,
time?
yeah. I made up a bunch of actually my latest thing. I made up a bunch of track cleaning. You used to have the masonite pads that fit
Yeah.
underneath cars, and I decided I'm going to try something. So I went through my stash of my car years. I had a bunch of 1,000 and some 1,200 sandpaper, wet dry
Yep.
sandpaper.
Yep.
So I made up a bunch of, I cut some masonite up, made my own pads, put 2 nails in them, and I glued the 1,000 or 1,200 to the bottom of the pads.
Yep.
So, and what it does, it polishes the railhead. It doesn't scratch it. It's probably finer than any bright boy in the world.
Yep.
And so what I've been doing now, I usually put 2 of them. I put one in front. I put a dry pad behind it rolling, usually a couple locomotives, and in the back I put another one and another dry pad. And that way you can sort of go into sidings, double-ended sidings. You go in and back out, and that seems to that you have to clean the tracks, especially when I've had open houses, so the main line's pretty clean. But some industries, they haven't seen a car in a long time. So it's,
right. No, and that's what I use too. Is I have 1,000 grit sandpaper, and then I got 2,000 grit, and I mean, people use that to polish mirrors for homemade telescopes, and
I mean,
so,
they make it up to like 4,000 and 5,000.
yeah.
I mean, when I used to paint cars years ago, a lot you use lacquer, and then you had to do you sanded it, then you polish it out, compounded it out. But that's when you use wet sanded, usually with 2,000, and then you polished it. So it's
no, that's good. So then, how often do you do open houses then?
well, I'm open in November when the normal November open house. The RPM in Railroad Prototype Modeler meet was in Valley Forge. Actually, just probably just a couple, I guess 3 weeks ago. So I was open for that. And and I do have people that I have people that call, want to stop by and visit. So we usually run a train around. So it's I want people want to see it, they can see it. It's
the layout gets work then in between. That's awesome.
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
And then, I mean, I was fooling around with the idea of distributed power in a big ore train. So I'm running trains up and down over Keating. And if I crash it, nobody else knows about it. But
right. No,
it's like,
no one
knows. I usually run let me try run 90 Jennies. Let me try 100. And it's like
I like where this guy's head's at. I love
it. Did you ever come up with a top end on that yet, or no?
You mean a top on the ore train?
Yeah.
I got to 100. I decided after that, I said, I think any more than that, because a lot of the cars are the old Stewart cars, and those are cast metal cars.
That's heavy.
They're not plastic. So
but come on, man.
I know.
No, you got to make 120. I'm saying I want to see 150. Actually, I bet you 150 you could get 150 on that thing.
150 would probably be about 7.6 axles.
So
well, okay. By the looks of it, you might have enough of them.
Well, if Andy shows up, we'll make sure there's an ore train with his name on it.
Yeah.
Now we're talking
150. I think now we need to just go to 200 to hell with it. If you're gonna shoot for the moon, just go.
Oh yeah. I've been watching some of the YouTube stuff. There's a Coeur d'Alene down in Georgia. There's a Camber down there. CSX runs these trains. Yeah. And I'm watching and had two or three of the newer 6 axles in the front, a covered hopper, 96 tank cars, another covered hopper, 3 more big giant wide cabs, and 102 empty hoppers. And I'm going, I'm going like, oh my God, and nobody in the middle. That's the weird thing to me. I'm, these 3 units in the middle, and there's nobody in them. It's like,
that's terrible.
Not
a fan.
How many crews they don't need? That's
scary. That's a scary big train.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, NS has had some issues up in Horseshoe. They derailed a couple. originally it was all the center beam flats.
Yeah,
Yeah, they get in the middle. They push on them and they go
for a while.
boing. Yeah.
Like a spring.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that was really bad. It was like almost daily that they were going on the
Yeah.
ground up there.
It's
It
like,
was
why doesn't
really,
somebody
really bad.
Okay, you better check the train makeup, I think, don't you?
Yeah.
No, it's always
Yeah.
the track. It's just like
Yeah,
at the Model Railroad Club. It's always the track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Penn Central days, I remember when they used pushers up over Horseshoe. A lot of people would notice this, it was 89-foot flats, but there was always a 40-foot boxcar between the last flat and the cabin car. And they said, why is that? It says, because you don't want an 89-foot car pushing, and then a pair of 6,000 horsepower or 6,600 horsepower pushing against a cabin car that's 34 feet long.
Yeah.
Because it's going to go,
boing.
So that they always kept an empty 40-foot box or whatever, and that's what went between the end. Yeah, and that way they had no issues. So
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Ken, I just gotta tip my hat and say thanks for taking the time, to put all the content together tonight, and then come back on the show after Mike's lobotomy that he had the first time.
I didn't have a lobotomy. It was just whatever.
But again, thank you. This has been absolutely a blast having you with us.
Stand here from now on and go like this.
Man. Yeah. No, it was great.
I can always come back. I can always come back again. That way, Mike can get a refill. So
I think we're gonna have to have Ken back on the show again if he's willing.
Yeah.
And we'll have to take a
nice layout. It's okay.
I think it's great.
All right. I mean,
you get you guys to come out east here. That's what you got to do.
We should do a show live from his layout. That would be the best.
Tell you what you ought to do. You ought to go to the Springfield Mass Train Show. That's usually in the end of January.
Yeah.
Right. It's a great train show, but you could sort of come through here on your way there.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. Road trip it, Mike.
Yeah. Great idea. Who's paying for it?
I don't know. We'll figure that. That's the details, Mike. We'll figure out the details later.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
No, it's great. So Ken, thanks again for coming back on the show and putting all that together. It's always a great time. Appreciate it. We administrative note here for everyone here at the section crew. I think we're going to take next week off. We're still kind of trying to nail down a time with Mike Confalone and his wife. They're going to do a show of them where they're going to talk about operations on the Allagash / Androscoggin and Western Maine.
There you go.
And they're going to talk about the operations there, and then I think Mike is putting together some content for us to do a layout tour. So you're not going to want to miss that show, but we haven't locked a date down yet, and I need to take next week off anyway because the season finale of The Pit is on, and my wife said that we can't miss that. Otherwise, I get in trouble. So
you don't want to do that.
No, you don't.
Yeah, no. So anyways, Mike, any last words before we tie down for tonight?
No, Ken, honestly, thank you very, very much. It's impressive as always when you're coming on. I mean, I know I make all these goofy I truly am just amazed and astonished at what you've accomplished on your layout. It is absolutely beautiful. And
it is.
If I ever get an opportunity to head over that way and stop in and see it, it definitely is one of those things that I don't think I'd want to just be there by myself. I'd want to be there during a full session.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to see the entire guts of how this thing actually. I want to see the beast start to breathe. And that's what I want to see, because it's I think it's one of those things that until you actually experience it, you don't really you can appreciate the beauty and the hard work that's gone into it,
Mm-hmm.
but the actual way everything flows is got to be something that's just got to be experienced. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and I look forward to being able to do that one of these days.
Mhm.
It's really and honestly, it's always fun having you on the show. It's
Yeah.
and you never disappoint. So
And you're three appearances away from
Yeah.
a meatball sub.
yeah, and ask Mike Rose how that meatball sub goes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, he's how many
He's
appearances
still
in?
waiting.
He's still
He's on
waiting.
his eighth. He's like
eighth
the
time.
Steve Martin on Saturday Night Live
Yeah, I've
for
known
us.
Mike for quite some time. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
bought Deke when he did an article. God, how many? Probably 30 years ago in RMC about building the Conrail ballast cars. You know, the converted 2-bay
Yeah.
covered hoppers.
Yeah.
And he offered decals. I bought decals from him way back when. So
Yeah.
I still
my
got them.
So
And-
yeah, thank you, Ken. Again,
right.
that's really an awesome job tonight again, as
Yeah.
usual.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And you know, Mike, when the sump pump goes out in your model train room and your rail marine scene becomes a little too realistic, what do we always say here at the Second Section Podcast?
Just keep modeling.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.